diagonal, 2 straight, 2 on the diagonal, 2 straight, right? And I did that for every single turret. There's 2 on the sides, 1 on each side, and 2 coming out in the front. And that part was not difficult. But the part of the turret that's really hard is the roof. And so what I ended up needing to do is not necessarily the front ones as much, but the side ones for sure, is that I usually will place an underblock that I then put the stairs on for a final roof. I had to use the dark oak underneath so that there would be no. I started with the white pale oak, and because I wanted that look on my ceiling, but it turned out that I really had to do the dark oak because that was the only way I was going to make the roof look like a solid one piece, because otherwise I had bits of pale oaks peeking out, and that just does not fly. So let me turn off the waterworks here. Um, some of the things I'd like to talk about, some of the things that make this cherry house Victorian. The turrets, I did a wraparound roof, but basically it's this little bit of pale oak fencing and a little bit of pale oak here and there to try to create the illusion of like all of the fancy woodwork and detail that a Victorian house would typically have. That's the point of having this extra fencing up and down. Here it's kind of like that trellisy um, Victorian stuff. That's the point. I'm trying to make it look um, as Victorian, as fancy, as detailed and intricate as possible, which is not always the easiest look to go for in Minecraft. So I added some fencing in the front here to kind of be some of that fancy trellising. I did fencing down on either side of the front of each turret. So that was kind of the idea there. So I'm going to stay, as you can see, I added some fencing here. I'm going to stay on this level of a block, and I'm going to add some fencing on each side turret as well, just to keep that fancy look going. Does that look weird? No, I like it. Okay, so we're going to come over to this side. Stay on the same level. We're just going to add a little bit more just to try to keep that look flowing all the way through the house. All right, so the outside of the house is mostly done. The only thing I would like to add is some greenery. So I wanted to tell you guys that this house really wasn't that hard, and I don't really think you're going to miss out too much on not having a full-on tutorial. Make a square, and then in the middle of the square come out with a two by two turret, and then 2 turrets coming off the front. I mean, it really wasn't too difficult. And then just use the fencing to help bring a little bit more of that kind of Victorian like elaborate charm that Victorians usually have. I ended up using cherry because the picture, I based this house off of a picture that I found on Google, and it was pink, and so I just kind of decided that I would stick with that. But really, any color is fine. So there we go. I have some shrubs. I'm just gonna go around with my pale oak and give it a little perimeter. Mostly, I really wanted to bring a little bit more of that pale oak in. It has all of these beautiful little pale oak details with the fencing, and I really just wanted to make sure and have a little bit more all the way to the floor to help finish it off. And then I'm going to do some walkways from the front and the back. I'm not exactly sure what I want to use, possibly stone. I might line it here. That's kind of a long walkway, Amy. Okay. In fact, I may go like this. And continue our shrubs up this way. So we have like a little lined walkway up to the house. I think that looks pretty cute. So whatever I choose, that's what I'm going to have my fencing go into. Alright, so let's decide. I could just go gray concrete. Nothing special about that, but I think that is kind of the look I'd like to go for. I've got a lot going on with the textures of this house, so I'm going to stick with the concrete so it's nice and plain. Alright. Alright, so I feel like that really just kind of finishes off the outside. So I'm happy with that. That looks pretty nice. And that lightning just about took me out. Holy cow. So let's go inside of this beautiful Victorian house and do some work on the inside. So the inside of this house is not huge. This is definitely not the biggest house I've ever done. It's actually kind of the perfect size house. Not too big, not too small. Um, I chose the pale oak for the flooring. I chose pale oak for the flooring on the top, which also means it's a ceiling color, but I like that. We have these little areas in the front of the house, then an area on both sides of the staircase that come out into the little turret, and then this backspace here. And I'm pretty sure that I'm going to turn the backside of this staircase into a fireplace. Most likely that is going to be happening. So I'm going to start adding some light to my house here because it is a little dark. And then we can start deciding what it is that we want to start adding to finish this house off. Alright, so that's nice. That's some nice light. Let's go ahead and do a couple on either side of my staircase here. Alright, so when you walk in, obviously you can go up the staircase or you can go to the left or the right, right? So that's going to be a pretty easy decision maker. When you come up to the stairs, you've got a little bit of a landing. You have these two rooms in front of you, right? These were going to be um, bedrooms, obviously. I like how you can see down to the porch below. So we've got two little bedrooms there. These I was going to make a bathroom. The turrets on either side were going to be bathrooms. There's one over there. And then we have the turret in the front of the house, and that's going to be a bedroom as well. So if there's enough space, I might put like a little seating area in each one of these little areas outside the bathroom and the front turret bedroom. So let's go ahead. Now that I feel like I've kind of lightened the place up, you see the footprint that we're working with. Let's go ahead and we're going to go downstairs and we are going to start filling in our living spaces. And I'm going to start with the kitchen. So let's go down and grab some items for a kitchen. The thing about this house is that if it's a Victorian, if I want to stick with that look, I might need to create more walls. Even though I generally like to keep my houses open, um, often because of space, um, I don't think that's going to fit the house very well. So I kind of need to keep that in mind and remember that I might need to close things in to make them look more correct. So let's decide what type of a fireplace do we also want to have. So I'm gonna need some sort of a stone. No, I don't know. What kind do I want to do? I think I might. I could do my sandstone just because it's white and it's gonna look nice. Alright, so we come in here. In my mind's eye, I see one of these back corners being the um, kitchen. So let's, come on, cooperate. Alright, we are going to, how far over? I don't want to go over that far. It's going to meet up right there. So Victorian kitchens were small. So I'm going to stick with that look. Kind of smaller than maybe I would normally do. We're going to do some cabinets. And I think I'm going to do some shelving. In this corner. want to add Alright, so that's going to be our fridge. Then we have our little Victorian style kitchen. So there you go. I might want to do, maybe I'll do that. That looks kind of cute. So let's add, I got rid of my light. Alright, so that's a cute little closed-in kitchen, and I don't normally do that, so there you go. Alright, I'm gonna make this probably a dining room space. So let's decide how far out do we want to cover the white stairs. It's gonna need I'm just spotting something that's not gonna be okay with me. Okay, so let's get the cherry. So maybe X-nay on the cherry up there, because I don't want to see it from the inside of the staircase. So we're gonna leave this space open so there's a place for a little bit of the smoke to go. We're gonna put our fire there. Alright, so there is our cute little fireplace. I want to close this in one more. That looks pretty nice. So then I'm going to use my spruce and make a mantle. And then I'm seeing this. I'm like, this feels uncomfortable. This doesn't feel like, I don't know, like normal. So I'm going to build around it. And the way you get back there is through the kitchen. Alright, so this is going to be, so this comes off. One, two, back, two, out. So 1, 2, back, 2, out. I want that to be the same. And then, so this is going to be the dining room right here. So let's decide, what do we want? I think I'm going to stick with a dark colored wood to be a nice contrast. So let's see here. The spruce has the dark bark around it. What's that? Dark oak wood. use spruce for my chairs. You know what I should do though? It seems very intimate and so much smaller than what I normally do, but it's okay. I, I'm gonna, it's gonna be alright. So I think I might make some shelving. On either side. I don't know, we'll see. Those might stay, those might go. So now that we have a kitchen, we have a dining room, we're gonna need some sitting spaces, obviously. So let's talk about some living room spaces. So we come in, I'm gonna have this be a formal living room area. Let's get some dark oak trapdoors. Need some bookshelves. I want to make sure, because this is a Victorian house, to have some of those like wood detailed, kind of fancy looking stuff. So spruce or oak. So we've got a nice little sitting area right there. I might do that same thing over on this side actually. Like these little parlors. I don't know if you've ever been in a Victorian house, but they have these little cute like sitting areas, reading areas, um, places where they would sit, and like the women would be on this side playing bridge, and the men would be on the other side smoking cigars and talking politics, right? So I want these little areas where there are a couple different gathering places. So the question is really, how am I going to treat this area here? I feel like I could extend this out and I could make this a bigger dining room, and that way I could make a bigger table. And I, I don't know. I was having second thoughts about that, but I really think that maybe that's the best bet. I should do that. So we're gonna change it up just a wee bit. So let me get some more of that cherry. So I'm gonna use the same materials for sure. Instead of having it just centered over this, I think I'm gonna use more of this area. So I'm gonna have this come out. Do we want to go in like this? And then maybe something like that. I think that would work okay. Then we can leave that open for the walkway into the dining room. See, it's so foreign to me to like have all these interior walls. I love to make things kind of like open and grand, but But so this is kind of a challenge for me, especially with this shape of it inside, right? Like it's a little more difficult. All right, so we've got a nice little walkway into the dining room. So by coming in this far though, I did kind of take some of the room where I could have made a bigger table. So I kind of defeated the purpose there. I do see that I did that. Um, I want to make sure that we can walk around the table. However, I was able to do a larger table. So we could still walk around easily enough. It's still somewhat, so, yeah, somewhat, matched up to the fireplace. I'm gonna let that simmer. I think that's gonna be okay. So this is gonna be a space. Back one, yes. Alright, so I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I think I'm gonna make another room have a table too, actually. So I went out 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna make this like a breakfast nook. Maybe it has like a hutch. It's got like some storage. That's one of the things that I noticed about Victorian houses. They often have a lot of built-in wood features that make them kind of special. Alright, so I'm happy with that. I'll let that be for now. How do I want to do? I think I'm going to add so we have these two little front parlor areas, right? We have our entranceway, our grand staircase. I've got a little breakfast nook, kitchen, dining room, the fancy dining room with the fireplace that has this little seating area right here. So what should this room be? It could be another sitting area, like a game room. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of having that built in, like I have on the other side. regardless of what kind of room it's actually going to be. I'm wondering if I should make this like a fancy... How's that going to look if you walk in right there? If you walk in, it's kind of weird that that's sticking out. So maybe we'll just do it like that. I want to be able to like walk around and get behind here. Does that make sense? So let's do a little coffee table there. Then I'm gonna do some tall shelves there. If I put one there, it's not gonna be able to go around. But what if I did something like that? Like, what if this is the library? I kind of like that idea, actually. So that means that we are going to make this a little different. If this is the library, then we're going to go something like this. Alright, so just go with me here. I don't know if I'm going to really stick with this or not, but if this were a library, we could have it really like lined like so. Okay, so I'm trying to decide whether or not I really want to make it this this crazy. It is a lot of bookshelves, but it looks like a library, right? I mean, that was the whole point. So one of the things that I sometimes like to do with my libraries that I make like this that are kind of tall and big is to do like a ladder so that people can use the ladder to get up to the top shelf. I don't know, do I like that? Maybe just leave it like that. Just like that, and then do I need one over here? I think maybe it might be helpful to have one like right there. So there we go. So we have these big bookshelves and a place where you could sit and read. So I like that. That works for me. It's a little crazy, but there you go. All right, so dining room, library, two different parlors off the front door. So, and then another dining room and the kitchen in the corner. All right. Let's see. I think I'm gonna do a brown and pink room. Maybe a couple brown, like right here in the front. And then I'll do a bathroom and we'll call it good. And I'll finish the rest of it on my own. And then you guys will just kind of have an overview of some ideas that you could do if you wanted to build a Victorian house like this one. So let's go in. I'm gonna do my bed's over there. Is that what we're gonna do? Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna make a checkered rug so that I can get both colors in. Bring them both in to kind of go with the walls a little bit. And then I'm going to need some chests. And then I'm going to do a dresser. Right there. So there's one room. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do the exact same thing over here or not. In fact, I think I might just switch it up a little bit. I'll use the same materials, but I'm going to do it a little bit different of a way. So a dresser there. I could do one up like that, but I think I'm going to do... If we did this. I don't think I'm going to like this, but I'm going to try it just in case. A tall dresser. Does it look weird like when you walk in though? There's a tall, I mean it's okay. It's not horrible. Alright, so we have the short long dresser and then a tall dresser. The one thing I like about it is that the dressers kind of help it feel balanced. So I'm gonna let that stay. Do my tall dresser there. I'm gonna put, the thing about it is this would make a really cute little like reading nook in the bedroom. And then I could do I think that's okay. nice little sitting area. I'm gonna go thinking maybe this could be like a desk, but we'll just make it a bookshelf. So I totally did that one different. How did I do that? That's what I did. Okay. I want it to be consistent. And then I really feel like there should be little end tables. And then just like that one, we'll do, maybe instead of a tall one, we'll just do short. Because it just seems a little ominous. Alright, I'm going to have little end tables on either side. So, you've noticed I haven't done any pictures or flowers yet. That's going to be coming. I would like to make bathrooms. So, there's a part of me that would like to just shove the toilet into that little nook. But I don't know. I mean, does anybody want to... Does that feel a little tight? I don't know. Okay. I feel like a Victorian bathroom is going to be kind of tight and small though. So maybe it's not a huge deal if it's not big and spacious like I'd like to make bathrooms. I guess when I build houses, I'd like to build a house the way I want my house to, like how I would want it to be if it were my house. Okay, so I gotta make some decisions here. Not the easiest space to make a bathroom out of, but if I put the toilet right here, there's the toilet, there's the little sink and vanity. What I'm hoping to do is to make, where's the glass panes? A little shower. Oh, come on, man. Don't do me like that. I'm just gonna throw that chest down to the bottom floor. Alright, let's do... That's gonna be... Is that too small? You know what, though? That's kind of like true to life. Showers usually aren't very big. So this is gonna be the shower in here. I mean, I could close it up and just there's no way to access it. You just look at it, but... What if I did this? Be like, hey, that's a part of the shower too. No. Okay. It's just a funky shape to deal with, but I think we're just gonna have to deal with it. So... consider, whoops, having it like that. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So there we go, there's our shower. I'm gonna do our bath mat right here. There's the shower head, little faucet to turn it on. We're gonna do, maybe not brown though. You know what I'm saying? Let's go down, let's do pink. Go all the way down to the pink banners. That's magenta. What am I not using? There, okay. So I'm gonna put a towel there. I'm gonna put a rug here for when you get out to wipe your feet. Put a rug over here for the vanity. So it's not the biggest bathroom in the world, but I think that it will do. It'll be okay. You know, we've got some towels, we've got a vanity. In some ways, it's like true to life for a Victorian bathroom. They're gonna be small. So the thing is, how do I recreate that bathroom again? I don't think I went all the way up, did I? Did I come in at all? Let's go look. Go in, so there's one square. So I only just came out 3 and then I went around the top. Okay, I can do that. So there's my shower. I'm wondering if I should do like some extra storage. That would make sense to me. Toilet, towel. Maybe I should have like a towel there, right? To like wipe your hands. That's where I put the towel for the other guy, huh? So let's do a towel there and there. Alright, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make that storage, do a towel there and there. So let's put our rugs. That's better. I like that better. We're gonna go switch it on the other side. That way we have like a place to put towels and things for the bathroom. Alright, so that is 2 sweet little bathrooms. I like them a lot. And then I didn't do this room, and I got rid of all the stuff. So maybe we'll do this room a little different. We'll do this room all pink and fluffy and nice. So let's get this. Right. And I haven't added any flowers or anything, and it's going to really need it to have that Victorian look. It's definitely going to need the flowers, but I feel like I'm running out of time. I only get an hour of playtime to record. So you guys, if you're liking what you're seeing, like and subscribe. Please come back for more. And yeah, just make sure that you subscribe. It helps the algorithm. It helps out my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you to those who have already subscribed. Alright, I'm gonna do some paintings, and I'm gonna do some flowers, and then I think we're gonna call it good for today. Let's go up and decide what type of flowers do we want to do. We could do pink. Alright, so there's Alright, there's one bedroom. So this is what I would normally, I'm not going to do the whole house, I'm just going to show you how I would do a few of the rooms. I would probably get a thing right there. Fine, I'll just do that. So that is probably, I will go around and do flowers and paintings. I would also like to do some chandeliers. I feel like Victorian houses have some nice little hanging lights, so I would probably do that as well. So maybe we'll just do the fire. That's fine, whatever. And I definitely need to do some sort of a rug in the living spaces down here. But this is just to kind of give you an idea if interiors are something that are hard for you. Just give you some ideas of some things that I normally do. I use the flowers, paintings, candles, rugs, anything that I can to try to make it look a little nicer. Maybe we'll add some bookshelves because I don't think that the library had enough apparently. That feels nice. That has a nice balance of space, which is what it's usually about for me, is having a balance. All right. Oh good, I already have them up there. So let's do painting there. This room is just gonna have a rug, no paintings. I'm gonna come back and use the chain and the lanterns to do some cute chandeliers for sure. Definitely needs it. I feel like it's pretty dark over here. I'm gonna do a different flower there though. And then let's do, ooh, that's not what I was expecting. Let's do a painting. Ooh, I like that one. Let's go back and we have that one again. That one's fine. We'll do that one. And I kind of was dying to change up my flower just a little bit. So let's just not have it all be exactly the same. Right, so there's my basic dining room. I would normally do the tripwire for the faucets on all my sinks. Is that already there? No, it's down here. There it is. I haven't done any candles, and I'll tell you, I definitely think because this is a Victorian house, it's gonna need some candles. So choose some of the areas where you have bookshelves and barrels and put some candles for sure. Is there a good place to put a painting? That'll work. I feel like it's not like giving me a whole lot of choices. There we go. Alright, so this is gonna be the second dining room. That's pretty cute. I like how that turned out. I like it. Adorable. Alright, so I really feel like just adding the paintings and the flowers really helped this house kind of come to life. So, like I said before, the actual building of the house, not super hard. Just remember to add some features like a different color gating, you know, the trim with the shrubs around the house. Just help it feel kind of fancier, feel like a true Victorian house. Um, be careful with how you do the roof. The roof was definitely the hardest and most painstaking and time consuming part of the build. Whatever roofing that you choose to do, whether it be like dark oak like my stairs, make sure that you use the dark oak block underneath it for the placing blocks, because otherwise you're going to have bits of whatever you choose sticking out. Also, when I did the roofing on the turrets, I picked one direction for my stairs to face, and then I just stuck with that. I had all my stairs facing forward, and then any little bits that were sticking out with the under material, I just replaced with the same dark oak. So hopefully that makes sense. And you guys like, subscribe, come back for more. I hope you enjoyed this build, and I did it. Even though I thought I was doing small and easy, of course I was wrong. It's plenty big. It took plenty of time and it was plenty difficult. So come on back. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see more of, and have a great day and keep building.